Good evening. It's 8:36 p.m. in Monrovia, Liberia, from the cozy studio of KMTV. I'm Tomalin George with another edition of the closing argument, April 17, 2023. Today we have as our guest His Excellency Ambassador John Balut, former Senator of Maryland County and former Ambassador Extraordinary Plenipotentiary of the Republic of Liberia. And we now bring in Keff Hassan. Keffiko, what's up? Welcome.
Not bad, my brother. Hi, everything. How the city?
Oh, hang in there. God mining us, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's good to be in Monrovia, the heart of our city, our capital city, Monrovia, in the KMTV studio, where we're bringing this program live. Our sister Jackie Mccay will be hosting today, but she gets set and adjusted to her set. We're gonna just keep the ball rolling. We'll be bringing in Ambassador John Balut in the next few minutes. Was a mistake on his name. It's not Ballot, it's Ballout, Balut, and not Ballot. So I'm sorry, Ambassador Balut. I'm sorry for the name I was misspelled. We'll correct it next time. I'm very sorry. But Kev, uh, before we bring the ambassador in and the other guys can join us, what's happening at your end?
Not bad. Weather changing here, but we we got the some result right. We got some of the the voting registration result out. I was seeing some increment in some areas there. So I don't know how they're playing out there at your end.
Well, some people they still have concern about the numbers. It's not too much difference, but I don't know. In 6 years, we see some slight changes, like a low increment in most of the counties. Magibi,
Let's your
Montserrat,
county.
huh?
Your county. Where you from? You from Magibi? I've
Yeah,
seen
Magibi.
some
There was a increase. In 2017,
19, almost 20% increase.
yeah, 2017 they had 154,328, and this 2023 they got 184,425.
Hmm.
Dr. Peabody, welcome.
Good to see you, my brother. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Good to see you. So,
But anyway, we'll discuss it later on. But we'll be discussing today with our guest, His Excellency Ambassador John Balut, former Maryland Senator and former Ambassador Extraordinary Plenipotentiary of Liberia. Uh, he'll be discussing about, is the JMP ABC ticket still possible? As you are aware, he's been in the forefront trying to ensure opposition unity, trying to ensure that Ambassador Boyka and Mr. Cummings are on the same ticket. And he's been working behind the scene with other stakeholders. And so tonight he'll be here to provide us some information on how far his team has gone with this process. But as I said earlier, Jackie Mccay will be hosting the program today, and I will now turn over to Jackie as we bring and she welcome Ambassador Balut. So Jackie is all
Can you hear me clearly now?
loud and clear.
Loud and clear. Awesome. Well, good afternoon, good evening to Keff, Dr. Peabody, Tomalin. Hello, and hello to our wonderful, loving people of Liberia, those who are back home and abroad, and in the diaspora. Today we have a fascinating show. We have Senator Palu, who is going to be talking to us today. And of course, there are a lot of things that have been happening that happened over the weekend. Too much to catch up on. I'm sure people have been listening to the news as to what has been happening. We will cover some of those things today. Do we have the rundown? I know
Yeah,
I saw it up earlier.
yeah. Just go. go from what you got. Yeah, go ahead.
How was your weekend, Kev? Dr. Peabody?
It was a
Tomalin, how was
busy
your weekend?
weekend. I was
Oh, for me,
busy. I was in New York for funeral. I came back, so it was busy, quite busy.
Okay, Kev, how was your weekend?
My weekend was well a little bit hectic, but went through it. Overall, it was better.
Okay. And Tomalin, I see you had some events going on this weekend. How was the weekend?
yes, we're in Habel, Cotton Tree to be exact, Lower Magibi County, where we dedicated our public library, our Association of Firestone Residents in the Americas, led by the chairman of the board, the president, other officials, secretary general. We dedicated the library and Cotton Tree and turn over to the school authority. And it was a very, very exciting program. Representative Ava Jones, he was there. He also attended with the district education officer. But prior to that, we had a the kickball tournament among the public schools on Thursday, and after the tournament, we went on Saturday to have this program at the town hall in the yard of the library, and it was a nice, very very nice program, and the citizenry of that area, they're all excited by it, and the libraries we compare to any library in the USA. We have a computer lab, and you name it. Anything you talk about a library, we have it there. We spent almost so far when the library is completed, furnished and everything, we'll be talking about 200,000, but we have already spent about 100,
Oh, wow.
130,000 right now. So we're trying to ensure that that is needed for a library will be in that library. And then later on,
Incredible.
we I joined the chairman of the COP Costa. We all was in Clippersburg. Had a time with the ALP leader and his daughter Tilia, who we expect to be our guest on Wednesday. We had a great time there
Okay.
and a nice time. My first time going to Wookie Farm, so I wanted to see the place. So I visited Wookie Farms, and they're doing a great job there and so forth. But we had a great time, and that's good.
Do they still have all those animals on the farm? The ostrich. I mean, it was fascinating. I used to visit. I visited there several times, and it was just amazing looking at those different animals as you're driving through Woking Farm. Do they still have those animals there?
Yeah, because Mr.
Did you see?
You were telling us that he wanted to show the alligator. I said, nah. I don't go. Yeah, I said, nah. It's not with the alligator. So, but yeah, he said, they still have all these animals there and so forth. But I never went to see them. Because, yeah, but it's a very
Oh,
big farm. Very big farm.
it is, and it's a nice place.
Yeah.
Well, wonderful, wonderful. Well, our people, I see them already commenting. James, hello, welcome, Patrick. Joe Salah, Christian Roberts, Maxwell. Thank you for commenting so far. Keep the comments coming. Please click and share. Hit the like button and share our show today. We have a wonderful program today. As we said earlier, we have Senator Palu, who will be joining us very, very shortly. He's here already in studio. So, without much, did we talk about NEC results earlier? Because I was off for the first 5 minutes. Tomalin, did you talk about that?
The results? Yeah, about the voter registration results, the first phase. Yeah, it came out today
Right,
with
right.
Maggie, Montserrato, Grand Bassa, Bombing, Grand Cayman, and Gbapolo. And I see some increments in like Maggie. They had 2017. They had 154,328. Now 184,425. Montserrato 2017 they had 777,503. Now it's 891,201. Grand Bassa 2017 they had 145,798. Now it's
Mm-hmm.
157,071. For me, They have 64. Bombing is a little bit. Bombing has 64,171, but now only 64,395. And Grand Cayman has 65,800. Now it is 6,589. And Bapolu have 48,669 and now 50,887.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's good. Any thoughts on those numbers, Dr. Peabody and Kev? So we have a total of what 1.4 million people who have registered so far.
So probably that is so. Our population is about 5 million. So if we have just 1.4 million who have registered so far, that registration continue in the other part of the counties, right? I believe
Right.
other counties are still
9
going with the reg.
counties.
Yeah. So I think, I mean, it's technically not bad because probably that's, I mean, but it's still a very low number to me, very low number, and out of 5 million, I think that's very low. It seems that it appears that a lot more people that need to be registered, because 1.4 million is just too small, and I hope more people will go out there and register to vote, but that number is just too small, very small.
You know?
Yeah. Any thoughts, Kev?
Yeah, I said this the other day. I'm not saying the turnout to vote from the opposition side. I'm actually not saying it. Matter of fact, when voting, well, registering was going on in Bassa, yeah, Yomli Kanga were all the way in America. I've not seen, moving out, getting people to go out and vote. I only seen it on the ruling party side, the government side. People are going out to vote. So the reason I'm bringing that up, because tomorrow people want to challenge the numbers when the numbers come out. They'll say, "Oh, that this, oh, that." But I'm bringing people to take notice right now. So when you're talking about maybe it's not too high, or the numbers not there yet, on registering, you can look on the opposition side. There are people not going out to register. They are not. So I really don't know why, because they don't feel their ticket, because they don't feel what's happening within the opposition black. They're not seeing anybody who they feel they will uh, vote for or something. But the numbers are not there on the opposition side. The numbers are not there. When I look at the number, for example, um, you look at Magibi, the work that
Mm-hmm.
Honorable Magill is doing in Magibi, the work he's doing in Magibi, the people are coming out in Magibi, the polls are coming out for Magibi, from Magibi. I'm not seeing the opposition doing anything in Magibi, but they want to cry tomorrow. So along that Basel belt, I'm not seeing nothing coming out. You look at Bomi, nothing
Mm-hmm.
happening in Bomi from the opposition side. Edwin Snow there, he's doing his work. We all know he's supporting uh, the president. There, you look at Cape Man. I'm not seeing anything. Let's look at Monserrato. When you February 4th, when you just take a look of what happened in February 4th, the young people that came out to on the president nomination, and the
Mm-hmm.
young people I'm seeing going out to go and register first time voters. If I look at this if I look at this, what NEC released right now, the amount of people that are going out to register, If I was in the opposition side, I'll be worried because your people need to go out. We'll
So,
see the
Kev,
other side.
uh-huh.
The
What
other
I'm
side is more.
understanding. No, go ahead.
Yeah, go
Finish
ahead.
up.
No,
No,
but
go
I'm
ahead.
saying what I'm saying on the other side, the mobilization that going on from the ruling party, the opposition black nothing. Don't get out to vote. I'm not saying get out to vote. Matter of fact, the only person I saw about a couple of minutes ago when I was coming up, it was Musa Bilete, and get out to vote because Nimba coming up. But the rest of them, nothing happening. It's like they actually not worried. Nothing happening.
Okay. Well, I think oppositions did get out their voters to vote. Whether they got enough of them out to vote or all of them out to vote, they will be looking at the data to themselves to see how well they did over the during the phase one in these 6 counties. Having said that, when you
Yeah.
talk about
Hello?
NEC and the responsibilities, I keep saying that yes, NEC will do its job, but NEC does not act alone and should not act alone. It is the responsibility of all the stakeholders to do voters education, civic education, to educate the people on their responsibility to go out and vote, whether or not you're in position, out of position, you have no position. We as a people, whether we are community leaders, whether we are political parties, even traditional leaders, we need to make sure that
Yeah,
we talk to
yeah,
people in the communities and get them out to register to vote. So let's see how phase two um will what will happen over the phase two period. That begins April 21st, I believe, runs through May 11, correct? And I think NEC already started its civic and voter education process for the next the 9 counties, the remaining counties that are out there. And voter registration is going to start April 21st, right? I think that's when the next
yeah.
phase begins, right, Tomalin?
Yes, yes, yes,
That's when it begins, right?
yes.
Okay. So are we ready to bring on our guest? Should we go ahead and bring him on
Yeah,
now?
he's having a little
Yes, I guess.
getting set up. As soon as he gets set, as soon as I see him, we'll bring him on. He's getting set up. He hasn't got
Okay.
in. But
So in the meantime, we're going to talk about the breaking news that's been there. I mean, everybody's talking about it. It's trending. The issue with Liberty Party is on all the newspapers, front page Africa, which said that LP crisis appears to be far from over. We had Chairman Ability here on the show on Friday who called for reconciliation. Of course, the Supreme Court had a few rulings, and those rulings were pretty much in the favor of Musa Ability. And when he was on the show on Friday, he called for reconciliation of the party. And then on Saturday, we saw Senator Lawrence. She had a program in Grand Bassa County where she had the Bassonians, Grand Bassonians who were present. And she really spoke firmly on Saturday, calling for saying that the legal battle is not over. She talked about still questioning the chairmanship of Musa Ability and the things that went wrong within the party. She apologized to the people within Liberty Party for the crisis that is going on. So we see it's not over yet. She said that she's going to the party or her push side will make a determination on the legal what next steps legally that will be taken, and that will be announced on Tuesday. So what are your thoughts, Dr. Peabody? Then we'll go to Tomalin and then Kev.
Well, I think there is a law of the land, and when it comes to the Supreme Court decision, I think it should be accepted by all. When the Supreme Court make a decision, I think that should be accepted by all. There's no other way to interpret this law. There's no other alternative when the Supreme Court have decided that, hey, this is the way you do it. I think it will be a violation of the law for somebody after the Supreme Court have ruled and to not accept it. You may not agree with the Supreme Court decision, but what decision to make? I'm reminded of Agor when Agor contested the election some time ago against George Bush, and Igor, in his remark, he said, even though I may not agree with the decision, but the decision has been made, and I will follow the decision. I think at this time, with 5 months to election, uh, uh, I think Yummy is a senator. She understands the law. I think it's about time now that you she accept that offer that was made by uh, Chairman Ability and see how they can move the party forward. But there's nothing you can do. I mean, you don't want to reject the Supreme Court decision. You may even not accept it, but there's nothing you can do. I think all you have to do now is to abide by the law. And I show Senator Yumli Kanga is a law-abiding senator, and that's why she took it it went as far as the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has spoken. I don't think I don't think we we should be even trying to compromise that. There are certain laws. There are certain laws or certain things that it's not negotiable at this time. It's not negotiable at all. The Supreme Court have made a decision. So let's follow the law if the law says.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Peabody. I see we have our guest on.
Yeah, we can go straight there.
Can you hear us, Senator Balu? I think he's still
Senator,
having
can you hear
issues.
us?
Uh, can we contact him? Maybe
Does he have to
either
unmute or something?
he's need to log out, come back in, or
Can you hear us?
can we contact him?
Yeah, I'm trying.
Does he know he's on
Can you
live
hear me?
now?
I think he's hearing us, but it's just we're not hearing him. But I think he's hearing us at this time. It's not negotiable at all.
Can we contact him? Maybe hi, Senator.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, okay, we hear you now.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, Jackie, you're all set.
Welcome, Senator Balu. Welcome to the closing argument. It's wonderful having you here today. Can is he hearing us?
He's not hearing us, or he's telling me.
Can he log out and come back in? Can you reach him to log out and try to come back in?
Yeah, I just told him.
Okay.
Say log out and come back.
All right. So, Tomalin, your point of view on Liberty Party crisis as it continues?
Well, on the Liberty Party issued in 2017, Councilor Bromskin, who was a founding father of Liberty Party, he took the case to the Supreme Court after the election, and the Supreme Court ruled that while there existed irregularities, but it wasn't sufficient to overturn the call for a rerun. Councilor Bromskin, as a learned lawyer, he said he disagreed with them, but he had no option but to accept the Supreme Court's ruling because they are according to our Constitution, they are the final arbiter of legal issues in our country, disputes in our country. So the Supreme Court have issued a ruling, and he says it's okay now. Yeah, they issued a ruling on this case, and we only hope that the parties will accept the results and move on because I don't think where else can you go with this case. I heard that the council Hanga said she's taking it on Tuesday. The legal option will be announced. So we just wait to see what happens. But also too, the next day after that was said on Friday, Chairman ability expel Senator Kanga according to a letter I saw. I don't know how they will do the reconciliation. So we are just confused about what's happening. So, but since the ambassador is here, I think we can proceed with the show. And he's the main guest here for.
Senator Balu, hi, good afternoon, good evening on your end. Tomalin, try to see if you can
Hi,
say something
good
to
afternoon,
him.
good evening, and sorry for the inconvenience.
Yeah, we are you now.
Welcome to the closing argument today. We are so glad and honored to have you in our presence
I
today.
got off the electricity, had to put the generator on. I'm glad we're okay now.
Okay, wonderful. And once again, welcome. To all our viewers, please go ahead. Welcome to our viewers. Once again, please go ahead
The feeling is
and share the show.
mutual. I can guarantee
Okay.
that.
All right, Senator Paulo, you have been very, 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 very busy over the past several days. How is that going? How is everything going with you and your initiative? How is everything going?
You're frozen. I don't know if you can hear me.
We hear you.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you, Ambassador.
Yes, we can hear you. We
We
can
can
hear
hear
you.
It's just a
Well,
delay.
let me begin by thank you for the invitation to appear on your show, and congratulations for your new platform. Um,
you.
yes, we've been very busy. Um, and also for a very just cause. You know, we have seen the opposition come together as
It seems like he's going in and out.
the measure of necessity to save us from the problems we have.
Senator Balu, it seems
Came
like you're
together,
going in and out.
worked perfect. Clear? Let me let this fellow adjust this thing over, and then we'll get back to you, please. Just 2 minutes.
Okay. All right. Okay, so to our viewers, Senator Balu will be joining us shortly. He's having technical difficulties. We'll go back to Keff. Keff, we're talking about the liberty crisis. I think Dr. Peabody already gave his opinion. And what do you have to say regarding what's going on?
Like Musa always say, the law is the law. So for me, and I don't think it's a subject of discussion on Madam Senator Yomli Kanga. She's a lawmaker. She knows the law. The Supreme Court. That's the end. You can't go nowhere. I don't know where she want to go, but the law is the law. The law is the law. So for me, it's over. There's not nothing. I think we should, they should focus on uh, how how independent collaboration with the uh, uh, the Unity Party and see how much they can get themselves together. It seems like they're not getting themselves together because 5 months to election, they're all over the place. Nothing seems and to work. Nothing happening. It just kind of messy out there. If I was on the opposition side, to be honest with you, by now I'll be thinking about maybe finding somebody for 2029 because it's just messy all over the opposition side. How can you? First of all, she went to Bassa, the heart of what they always say the Liberty Party from the heart, and she had a very poor turnout in Bassa. You know the video out there, very poor and turnout
A
in
poor turnout, Kev?
very poor turnout in Bassa. That's not a impressive crowd there. You're talking about Liberty Party now. You're not talking about if she the true leader for Liberty Party. The entire Bassa is supposed to be upside down, but no. You know why? Because they don't see her as the leader. They don't. The leader of the Liberty Party now is and Musa Ability is the chairman. That's it. That's it. They either send out the olive branch to Musa or do something. But look at this. Look at it. Look at the crowd. We're talking about Basso.
You call that poor turnout?
Very poor.
Wow.
Very poor. It's under 500
Kev,
people there. Very poor.
But Kev, she was not having a political rally though. She invited some people, some of the members of Grand Bassa County, the citizens, to come because she had a message and she had a little program. So this was not a political rally. So how do you determine that the turnout was poor? Who determines that it was poor?
Jackie, I can put money on this one. She was not in there to celebrate her birthday. That I can put money on it. It was a political event. That I don't know if maybe I've seen the wrong video. Maybe that's a birthday, but that's a political event. You're talking about Liberty Party. They went there to tell the Bassa people that Musa Ability nasty the party, and the people ain't turn out. The people ain't go there because the people ain't see her.
Oh, from the video, it seems like a good number of people turned out. But let's go back to the reconciliation.
If that's a good number in Bassa, 5 months towards election, I'm sorry for you.
Kev, this was not a political rally where she's running. But let's go back to the message, though.
It was political.
Let's go back to the Kev. All right, everybody is entitled to their own opinion, whether or not it was well attended or not.
Unless you're telling me, oh, that her birthday, she went there to celebrate her birthday, so she invited people. So, your name got to be on the list before you enter.
Let me say this though.
Okay. Okay. So, Kev, yeah, go ahead, Tomalin.
Yeah, let me say this. You know, as things stand and at this present time, we should establish the fact that there's the Liberty Party is divided, the divided party. Okay, we should not sugarcoat it. Musa Chairman Bedete, he got his wing of Liberty Party, and Yombly got the wing of Liberty Party. Is divided, but on paper, according to the law, right now, NEC recognizes Musa Bedete is recognized as the national chairman of Liberty Party. He's the legitimate chairman. He's recognized, but the party is divided. But I can tell you this from what I see happening. Right now, the entire country, as we speak, is on pause because the former vice president is yet to make his VP choice. And I want to believe that as soon as former Vice President Boyka makes his VP pick, things will fall into place. The chip will fall because everyone right now is focused on, like when you're passing by the former Vice President house nowadays, You see thousands of people there watching the house, want to hear from the house. And he wanted to be kind yesterday, attended church service there. And right now, as we're hearing now, anytime this week, he may make his choice, announce his running mate. So as soon as he makes that pick, everything will fall in place. I'm sure things will fall in where it belongs. But Ambassador is here, so
5 months to election.
And that's why the ambassador is here. He's here to see if he can make any impact in what decision is being made out there when it comes to the former VP Boyka and when it comes to Mr. Cummings as well. So, Senator Balu, welcome back to the show, and go ahead with your opening statement.
Well, again, let me apologize for the interruption. Now I can assure you the internet, the sound, everything is okay now. Again, thanks for the invitation to appear on your show. And of course, you know that, like you rightly said, we've been very engaged with the process of bringing the unity of the opposition bloc to fruition. Just quickly to run through what all of us know about this is that democracy itself provides for periodic elections so that we can peacefully have an opportunity to have a transfer of power. To do that, people of like minds align themselves in political configurations we call parties, and in some cases, parties. Like in our contemporary political space now, you have a new trend out of necessity, mergers and coalitions. Today, you have the CDC, the Coalition for Democratic Change. It's a conglomeration of different political parties with like minds. The opposition bloc realized that to achieve the victory and the desired results we want and to deliver on this country's development, we had to equally adapt a strategy. And so, yes, the opposition, out of necessity, came together with the CPP, the Collaborating Political Parties. And we had a chance to test this. And like I said, it was tested and proven to not only be effective, but winnable. And so you can all attest to it from the midterm elections. The CPP overwhelmingly swept these elections. I mean, the hallmark of all of this is the lessons that were drawn out of this effectiveness in Montserrat. You know, the CDC for the first time was defeated in 2 consecutive terms in Montserrat within the space of 2 years or less. So the question here is, why would we have such a beautiful working formula? And then from that point onwards, we try to do everything to divide it and dismantle it. And all of us sat down as the CPP started to go through their problems. But I kept quiet, like many other people, hoping that they could resolve these problems. Then we saw it start to deteriorate. We saw the CPP threaten to break up. We saw Cummings going to court. We saw the Unity Party breaking away. And then we start to notice the alarming and increasing attacks from sympathizers, supporters from both of these political blocs, rain insults on each other, furthering the divide within the opposition bloc. At every step of the way, it must be pointed out that some of us spoke to the issues, because when some people hear us speak today, they say, oh, where were you when the CPP and Cummings was going to court? Where were you when the Unity Party was leaving? Where were you when they were insulting Ambassador Boyka? Where were you when they were insulting Mr. Cummings and you and the rest of it? Well, not only where was I, but there were many other Liberians who are cautioned this dangerous path that the CPP was taking. And I'm on record. I condemned it when Mr. Cummings was carried to court. I condemned it when the Unity Party left the CPP. And publicly on your show, I'm not your show, it was Spoon at that time, and all of these other major television and radio television networks. We equally kept engaging the partners in the back, because some people think that this thing just happened out of the sky. No, we've made our rounds with strategic conversations with Ambassador Boyka, Mr. Cummings, Mr. Ure, and some other prominent people in this political configuration. When we start to see that this was not yielding the desired results and people were bent on going in that direction, we had to elevate that debate, bring it to the public space, and give it to the public to take charge of it so that then we all start to discuss it. Even at that, as I still make my rounds, I still see positions firmly held. And so what we did the few days that you just mentioned was a desperate move from a desperate people in identifying a dire situation and trying to, with every effort left with them, to correct it before it gets too late. The Liberian people, all of those in the opposition bloc, are calling for the unity of the opposition bloc and they're calling for the Joseph Newman Boakai Alexander Cummings ticket. And I don't know if some of you followed my press conference that I gave about a month or so ago, where I didn't only appeal for this unity, but I equally so proffer a solution, a 9-count proposal by which we could spread this thing out. We proposed that Ambassador Boakai would go as the standard bearer. We proposed in that proposal that Mr. Cummings goes as vice, that Senator Lawrence is encouraged and supported to be his president pro tempore, that Mr. Cummings, Boakai, and the rest sign an MOU that guarantees Mr. Cummings will be the next standard bearer of the CPP, that we have another MOU signed that guarantees that Mr. Cummings will take his vice standard bearer from the Liberty Party, an MOU that guarantees the significant inclusion of the ALP, and another MOU guarantees the unification of the Liberty Party. Having said this, this was a proposal we put out, giving them some semblance of possibilities. When this didn't yield the desired results, and we start to hear people gearing up to announce vice standard bearers, then we got panicked, we got afraid, and we had to do what we did. So yes, we've been busy, and that's why we did what we did. And the reason is simple. Maybe I'll just put all the chips on the table one time. For the opposition bloc to win this election and develop the country, give to the country what the citizens deserve, to do that, you have to unite. You cannot go to the elections with the opposition bloc split in half. Because as is, Ambassador Boakai has his opposition bloc that he leads, and Mr. Cummings has another half of the opposition bloc that he leads. Unless we can bring these blocks together, we're going to go divided. And if you go divided, it's anybody's chance what's going to happen. When we go divided, we're going to lose the entire legislature. You're going to lose the legislature. Some people have been proffering, oh, if we can't agree on the first round, let all of us go and try our luck. And at the runoff, we can always sit down and support the one that gets through. And that's a fallacy of thought. Because the runoff as a divided opposition, you would have already lost the entire legislature. What good is the presidency of a hostile legislature, a non-cooperating legislature, a legislature that is bent on non-compliance? So I'm a former lawmaker, I'm a former senator. I know the role, I know the significance of the legislature in the governance of the state. And so no, we cannot go divided. We have to unite, we have to win the legislature, we have to win the presidency. With the Joseph Newman Boakai ticket, with Alexander Cummings ticket, there is a guaranteed first round victory and an overwhelming landslide, tsunami conquest of the legislature. So we don't want to lose this opportunity. We're calling for it. And I'm pleased to say that the entire country is geared in the same direction. And we're just saying what hundreds of thousands of people are saying. We're just saying what everyone else has been saying. And we're just amplifying it and going to the doorsteps and presenting petitions, putting them on the spot. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Palu. We see some pictures that are out there with Mr. Cummings, Ambassador Boyka, Mr. Ure, Senator Lawrence. You know, those are the good old CPP days. But the two candidates are still friends, and from what I understand, they remain friends today. Right now we're going to take questions, take turns to ask you questions. We're going to go with Dr. Peabody first, and then Keff, and then Tomalin.
Senator Balu, just good to see you, and thank you for making your appearance on the Potion Acumen. I follow you the last few days, last week. Guess was a busy week for you, engaging different political leaders and all of that. But I'm gonna say here that don't you think it is late? I know you said that when the trial was going on, you made a attempt, you were engaging folks in the back, trying to talk to them. One would say, why didn't you stage the same rally that you went to meet the different party? Why was your mobilization bigger this time than when the trial was going on? People were calling Mr. Cumming criminal. People were calling him that he had the framework document. He's keeping it. He's not producing it. And friends were testifying against each other in court. I know you mean good. You want to bring them together the best way you can. But don't you think it's late that the bad blood is just too much that nothing going to happen again? Don't you think it's late?
No, no, I don't think it's late. Until we hear vice standard bearers being announced, no, it's not late. And I'm not a pessimist. I remain very optimistic in this regard. And again, I'm not going to delve into the past. The past is the past. There have been personal injuries, political injuries. Harsh things have been said. Harm has been done. You know, we've passed the stage now, but the question I asked in the early stages is that, and so what? And so what? Do we forget the country? Do we forget these children who deserve a better life? Look at the kids. For those of you in Liberia, you know what we're talking about. Look at the kids. Look at the elderly without social security. They are vulnerable. They don't have any kind of fallback position to survive. It's a dire situation. So yes, a lot of things have been said, a lot of things have been done. And yes, we all play our part. We spoke against these things at different parts, at the different stages. But what remains more than what has happened is the possibility we have today to change the story. What remains more than what happened is that we are closer to this possibility now to achieve the goals of Mr. Boyka, Ambassador Boyka, Mr. Cummings, and the reason they got involved in politics in the first place. No,
Who you think should be engaging who for vice president? Mr. Cummings asked Mr. Walker to be his running mate, or should Walker ask Mr. Cummings to be here? Who should be engaging who now?
well, I have said it publicly. I think to whom much is given, much is expected. I have publicly set out to Ambassador Boakai that it's time to reach out. It's time to reach out. You know, Madam Mccay, right? She said they continue to be friends. These are not enemies. But I'm not so much interested in a friendship as I am interested in a partnership. Their friendship is their friendship. Like I said, and we need to call a spade in this country. None of those people, none of these people, whether from the opposition or the ruling party, who are in the echelon of the political leadership, none of them will have difficulty sending their children to school. None of them, including myself and you, none of us. that we will say we don't have food to eat. Some of us go to the restaurant, we spend $75 on a lunch day. We spend $50 on a lunch day. That's the food for a month for families here. I mean, so with having said that, I am counting more on them setting aside their differences and doing what is necessary, not for them. The minute you step up in politics to change things, you sacrifice yourself, is for the common good of the vulnerable ones, the young ones, the millions of young people who don't have jobs, who don't have opportunities, who go to sleep hungry, families who cannot afford a meal. You need to look at the country where it is today. Say what you want to say about Unity Party. We elevated people's salaries to minimum $150, and it took PM time for every month of the number of years we were in office. Salaries have been reduced by half. People making $75 now, they're demonstrating and protesting all over the country. You'd be surprised to know how many government officials called me to thank me for the initiative we've taken. And whatever happens in this country, when the country gets better, is good for all of us, opposition and ruling party together. Tribes and religion all together. When you do something for the right reason, you get the right results. When you do it for the wrong reason, you have the wrong results. What we are doing, we're doing it for the right reason. And for that, it is out of conviction, and we attach passion to and determination with it. So we are moving forward. And it's important to note that there is hope. There is hope. And I'm counting on that hope. People have said all kinds of things. Sometimes when you stay aside, well, as I got closer to the Unity Party-led side, I've seen that majority of the people are in favor of this unity. When you go to the CPP side, the ANC side of CPP, the majority are in favor of it. So if we're all in favor of it, why aren't we talking about it and doing something about it? So right now, we have the opportunity. We have let the cat out of the bag. Everyone has been saying this. What we've done, we just raised it to the level that is now in the public space. And actions are being taken, negotiations are taking place, and hopefully, with these discussions, something good may come out of it.
Okay. Thank you. Keff?
Ambassador Balu, welcome to the show. You're trying to bring both sides together, and you talk about freeing the country. You talk about certain things, but one thing I was looking for, trying to understand from you, to try to get the shared values between the two people, because I believe people should come together because they have the same ideology politically. They can work together. The last time I saw them working together is end up in disaster. I witnessed the proceeding in court in Liberia. I was there. I sat in there. They end up in disaster. It seems to me that you have one goal, George Manawia, take him from there. We can sleep with the devil. Take him from there. But you're not explaining the shared values. You're not explaining what the people get, what both of them, what value, what they can bring to the people. Because you're a seasoned politician. I know you do have wide range of political knowledge in different countries. The country that I'm sitting in, I know whether choosing the running mate or the working together, they do have values. Something that they have the same political goal, even if it's not 100%, but they have something in common. You're not telling me, because when we witnessed them, there was a political bloody fight between two of them. Matter of fact, as we speak, the surrogate out there brutally attacking themselves. Do you want to give Liberia, say, okay, if George Weah is not there, let's put anybody there and end up destroying the country further because of your personal belief that you want George Weah should go? You're not telling the people, you're not giving them value. That's your aim?
Okay, well, let me say, Mr. Keff Hassan, I think you're absolutely correct. And so maybe I need to give you the share values. Let me tell you today, Ambassador Mccay, Mr. Cummings, represent a cream of our society. These people are gifts to Liberia. Ambassador Mccay served 12 years as vice president in the public space, and nobody can say anything negative about him. The only thing people say, oh, he's sleeping. You know, that's the petty political discussions because you don't have anything tangible to relate to. This man has proven to be an astute statesman who has maintained his space with utmost credibility and respect, and as a result, the entire nation admires him. So much so to the point that you had a Liberian Senate with then Senator Weah, a member of the Senate, himself contesting, but all of the senators followed the vice president, including the senators from the CDC. That speaks volumes of the kind of man Ambassador Mccay is. That speaks volume of what we refer to as demonstrated leadership in the Senate, because they are, unlike you and many other people in the country, they were there. They are the first-hand witnesses to the level of maturity that he brings to governance and leadership. So yes, they chose Ambassador Mccay over their own standard bearer from their party. They chose Ambassador Mccay over their own colleague as a senator, and they followed him. Now, Ambassador Mccay, having served, he is the most knowledgeable politician in terms of where Liberia came from, where we are, and the possibilities that we have. He has been here in this country throughout the war.
Ambassador Balu,
He was a vice
Ambassador
president.
Balu, you're not
I'm
giving
giving
me,
you
Ambassador Balu,
the share values
you're not
if you want to
giving
listen
me,
to me.
you are just praise singing his name. You're not giving me. Tell me if Cummings agree with the 66 bogus deals that you were in the Senate. Tell me if Cummings agree with that. Tell me if Cummings agree with a group of 77. Tell me if Cummings agree of Ambassador Mccay, Lofa Road, would never pave under his administration for 12 years. Tell me about the man who had the Green Revolution under Samuel Kayado that he was fired. Tell me if Cummings agree with that. If Cummings agree with that, that is a dangerous combination for Liberian people. Tell me, all his deals, head of the Senate. Tell me if Cummings agree with
So,
that. That's what I want. That's what I want to know. Don't tell me how he's smart. He is that the best. Yeah, I can tell George is the best. He can be president for America. I can tell you that. Tell me something.
so if
If Cummings
you
agree with some.
All right.
so if you ask your question, so if you ask me a question, I think it's only fair and respectful to allow me to answer. And when I'm
Go ahead,
done
sir. Go
answering, you
ahead.
can ask
Exactly.
another question. And I
Go ahead,
think that's
sir.
being fair. Okay. So having said that, this is who Ambassador Mccay is, and this is what he brings to the table. Now you ask me the share value, the value of Mr. Cummings. Mr. Cummings is another gift to this country. And I was speaking, like I said, in Yukutan the other day, Easter Sunday, where they called me to speak. And I said to the young kids that stop insulting this man. He's God's gift to this country. If you, like all of us have been praying to God to help us to solve our country's problem, and he sent you a solution, be careful. Don't insult this man before you bring on curse upon yourself. Cummings is one of the finest and most competent Liberians you have, and the world over, not just Liberia, Africa, the world over. Proof, he conquered the corporate ladder in the most competitive society in the world, the largest economy, where you are. That's where Cummings went. Someone who went to college here first 2 years before going there. No man, no power. That speaks volume of that man. And I asked those kids to Google the net worth of Coca-Cola Global, and when they did that, they came to $260-something billion net worth. And I said to them, now watch yourself. No idiot can be reached to that level and be given such responsibility to manage such a kind of institution. No corrupt person can do that. Nobody lacking administrative discipline or vision or the managerial skills can reach there. This is the man of the future for Liberia. So if you ask me the shared value, what is it that they have in common? They both love this country. They both want to move this country forward. They've had issues on how to go about it. That's why we're intervening to say, yes, you've tried to go about the how, you've not been able to do that. We're now asking you, for the sake of this country, let there be some sober reflection and political compromises. So yes, these are people who grew up together, they know each other, they respect each other, they are risen to the height of their profession as the best Liberia has to offer. Now, if you ask me about 66 bogus agreement, whether Cummings agrees with it, Cummings doesn't agree with it. Ambassador Walker doesn't agree with it. I don't agree with it. I was a member of the legislature when those issues were raised. And I spoke on on this phone network the other day. And I said to them, I don't want to ever hear anybody from this government speak about 66 bogus agreement. They sang this song when they were in opposition. 66 bogus agreement. Nobody can point out one article in any of these concession agreements that was raised and being bogus. They sang this song. President Weah became a senator on this song. He never raised it one day. They became president on this song. They control the legislature. I have raised this issue over 4 times over the past 4 years. I said to them, you said there were 66 bogus agreements. We blundered, granted, corrected. If you're men and women enough, stop talking about it. You are in authority. The speaker is from CDC. The deputy speaker is from CDC. The pro tempore is from CDC. The president of the Senate is from CDC. The president of the Republic is from CDC. If you will not do something about it, don't ever give yourself the audacity to speak about it. Because what is even worse than someone who will pass 66 bogus agreement is somebody who knows that these agreements were bogus and they don't do anything about it. So that's it.
JMB opposed that agreement.
Of course,
The
Cummings
JMB
doesn't
opposed
agree
the
with it.
Let him finish, Keff. Let the senator finish.
JMB
And
opposed it.
I made it clear when I was in the Senate,
Keff,
and before
please
we
let
had
the
our
senator
closing session,
finish.
Senator Finley of Grand Bassa was the pro tempore. And I said to Senator Finley, pro tempore, let's raise this issue, let's evoke it. This Mo Stephen NGO, whatever it is. I said there was 66 bogus agreement. Let them be made to produce why they say it was bogus. Because these people, by their utterance and publication, had indicted the Senate The legislature had indicted the country, and we were there. Not perfect, but we were there. So let them come forth, and where there is merit to these issues, let's correct them. Where there's no merit, let them be made to retract these statements. But no, my colleagues didn't deem it necessary to pursue it. And I said to them, this will haunt us, and it is. Unfortunately, as of today's
Not telling
date
me
and the election
on that
date,
66
anybody
please
else and everyone,
Senator,
Yes,
please.
you keep telling me what
anybody
you do.
else,
You're not running. Tell me what JMB
anybody else
did
and
on
everyone else, am I protected here?
I think the senator has already answered the question, pretty much answered the question.
Give him a chance to complete his statement.
Everybody else,
Tell me what
Let him
JMB
finish.
did. This is about
Kev, let him
JMB
finish,
collaboration
please.
that he wants with commies. So if JMB support our 66 bogus agreement, then let's see if commies. So want to see if they get the same mind.
But
You know.
Kev,
So, but he pivoting. The ambassador is pivoting to this government. Don't pivot. I want you to tell me what JMB did at that and for that 66 bogus agreement. What was JMB role? Why did JMB did not oppose it? Why he was the president of the Senate? He was the president of the Senate.
Kev, you already
What did
asked that
JMB
question.
do?
Can Senator Balu complete his response to you, please? And please don't interrupt him next time. Senator Balu, do
at
you
this
want to
point,
conclude and then we'll move on to Tomalin?
yes, I would just lay this to rest because this will never surface during any campaign in this country. As everybody else and anyone else can speak about this 66 bogus agreement except the CDC. And if you want to give yourself that authority and that leverage to use it during campaign, I challenge you now to do something about it before you go for campaign. Because if you don't go for it, you fake and you're not real. And you're not man enough or government enough or institution enough to speak to this issue. This is a similar thing. I'm responding to what Mr. Hassan has said. So while we're speaking about this, if somebody can just point what is wrong with this concession agreement, nobody says anything. But 66 bogus agreement, that's all to it. If there was a political debate, I would have asked your panelists to mention anything that he knows that is wrong with it. But of course, we're not going to be dragged to that level because he's just there to ask the questions, and I'm there to answer the questions.
Thank you, Senator Balu. And Tomalin going to be coming in, but let me just say something quickly, Kev, in addition to what the senator just said. If you will recall, Kev, in 2018, new administration took over, view these concession agreements. We are in year 6 now. No report has been published out there on the review of these concession agreements. Secondly, Kev,
You're not telling me JMB
finish, please don't interrupt. We are still waiting on these reports today. Secondly, if you want to blame other people for signing these bogus agreements, then you should also blame your current president and vice president who are also in the legislature. Because VP there, President Weah was also senator for 3 years. This is not pivoting. You ask a question, but you forget that there are up. Kev, don't interrupt us, please. Let us be civil on the show, please. Thank you so much.
On agreement.
But let's move on. This is not what look. We have our guest. This is not why he's here. He's here to present the status on the campaign for a boycott Cummings ticket. And let's move on. We have already spent enough time on the concession agreements. With that being said, Tomalin, please go ahead.
Senator Balut, I hope we'll have another time to discuss about those agreements because I have some concerns about it too, though. But it's not why we're here for tonight. But I'm very sure, and I love the way you are so much prepared to discuss it, and that's something that gives me hope that we'll have that discussion in the future. I pray we'll get you another time to discuss it. But since we're here for this election, let's go on to election.
Anytime.
Yes. Uh, in February of last year, we are in the country, and Mr. Cummings came to see us at the hotel. And I think I asked him the question, have Mr. Ambassador Boaga ever asked to be his running mate? He said no. He said the only thing they came close to saying was, he said, Joe, Alex, the people in Liberia depend on us. We went to see the ambassador at his residence, and Keff Hassan asked him the question. Keff asked him, have you ever asked Cummings to be a running mate? He said no. I say this to say that it appears that no one have asked anyone to be the running mate before in the first place, and to be on the team ticket. But as I travel around the city, the country, and since your initiative started, a lot of Liberians, they hailed you for the initiative you've taken. And I know that history will judge you, posterity will judge you, whatever the outcome of the election will be, you won't be forgotten in the annals of history for the role you are playing today. I'm sure about that. But during the negotiation, most times in negotiation, face to face, it's very important. But apparently, you guys are doing black door diplomacy, like shuttering between the two sides. Don't you think it would have been more sustainable if you guys have brought them face to face, get other stakeholders involved, and brought the two parties face to face, where Cummings and Boaga in the same room with the team, and you guys in the middle trying to negotiate with them? You think it would have been a better result if you guys have done that?
You mean instead of going in the streets to parade and make a
No.
petition?
Before you got to that point, like you said, in the CPP time, when having a code, you were doing some diplomacy, shuttering between the two sides. But that's what you think it would have been good. You brought them together face to face.
Well, what's in the past
Yeah.
is in the past. What's before us now is what we're dealing with. And we cannot approach moving forward by looking behind. So right here and right now, we're calling on all parties who say they love Ambassador Boaga, or you say you love Mr. Cummings, or the Liberty parties or the ALP. If you all think you're part of the same opposition bloc, then it's time to measure our statements towards each other and give peace a chance. Right now, all of these efforts are geared towards exactly what you're saying, arranging things so that these people can sit down and deal with this matter. These are very intelligent people, educated people, well-meaning people, clean people, respectable people. And these people know what is at stake. You know, you don't push things. My good friend, Senator Yimpa, may his soul rest in peace, he always said, in victory, nowhere to end. You don't push it to the point where you don't give people a chance to digest what you're saying. So we brought this debate this far. In the back, we're trying to arrange what we can, respectfully appealing to them and giving them a chance to take it from there. Yes, we are doing what we can, and like I said, the signals are positive. And if it works, fine. If it doesn't work, well, so be it. But we are trying our best, and we're trying to do exactly what you are speaking about today, because in essence, what I'm saying is you are absolutely correct. That's where we are going, except that we're not looking too much in the past. We're going forward, we're going very accommodating, we're being very tolerant to each other, and we are mincing our words with a lot of wisdom.
Okay, Jackie, let me just squeeze one there. You know, the last time I checked, in the last 48 hours, I've from the Boyka camp, he have reached to a short list of people he may be announcing. Last time I checked, I heard about Senator Kuhn, the COP leader Henry Costa, Madam Lawrence, and Kofi Woods. These are the names that have been shortlisted and so forth. And I'm told that any moment from now, any day from now, he will announce one of these people will be his running mate. So, and Mr. Cummings, I heard too, is also winding down his on his pick. So do you think with this there can be an 11-hour surprise for Liberian people that a breakthrough? Are you optimistic that in today's is Monday, today is 17th, and like the last time the UP Secretary General said that by the 25th of this month, which is a few days from now, uh, former VP Baka will be announcing his vice running mate. But do you think, are you optimistic? Liberians are watching, over 4,000 watching you live right now. Do you think you can tell them that you're optimistic that there will be a breakthrough at the 11th hour before the announcements are made?
Well, yes, I am. Because to not have hope is to really live a life of age today in Liberia. Many Liberians are optimistic. Many Liberians. And you mentioned all these names, and everyone has vested point campaigning for them. So those who you see are pursuing in a certain direction, of course, they don't want to encourage the Bwaka Cummings ticket. So if you listen to the comments made, they will all be saying all kinds of things. You will see even people from the CDC going under the guise of members of the opposition, throwing jibes so that people can get offended and further the divide. No, we're not interested in all of this. Because the race is on and because people are speeding up the process for their own candidate, so it is with us. We too have to participate in the race to ensure that we don't go any other route but the Bwaka Cummings ticket. So yes, it's a process. Everyone is playing their part. We too are only playing our part. And I can say this much. There is no other ticket other than the Bwaka Cummings ticket that can unite the opposition bloc. Ambassador Bwaka take anybody else from the other side, it doesn't bring the other half of the original CPP together. Mr. Cummings can take anybody he wants, it doesn't bring the other half that Ambassador Bwaka controls. If we're serious about winning this election, if we're serious about changing the story, the political narrative in this country, then we need to put our act together and do that which is necessary. What is that? It is the one indispensable, unique, irreplaceable ticket, Bwaka Cummings, that will not only unite the opposition bloc, that will not only sweep the entire legislature, that will not only win the government, the election, presidential election one round, but will provide the needed leadership that will come in terms of governance and economic development, structural development, accountability, transparency, rule of law, human rights. This is what this ticket represents. And of course, those in the government, they know the threat this ticket poses. They know this is their political jolobo. They know that. They sleep every night afraid that this will come to reality. Anybody fighting the Bwaka Cummings ticket is doing this government a great service. Anybody keeping the opposition from uniting is actually facilitating the government's interest. This government, for lack of a better word, has miserably failed the people. Today, the kids who were behind this government running or in the streets are all left behind in the ghettos. Drugs has taken over this country more than ever before. This is the biggest ghetto that I know. And when I speak of this, it hurts because institutions that we've developed and funded, we allow them to break down without any support. The DEA, today, the agents of the DEA that are responsible to fight this huge proliferation of drugs are making $75. They're agents. They have a $400,000 budget to fight a country drug war that has taken over the entire country. The DEA own statistics put us to about 1,000 ghettos in this country. And this government is just dancing and making songs and playing football and saying everything is fine, they're the best. What's happened to the children? Will we be able to look ourselves in the mirror after what we've done to these children and we don't speak about it? It's sad. It is sad. Who's supposed to do that? Today, you even have members of the law of the House of Representatives being accused by the DEA of facilitating drugs, dealing in drugs. This member, instead of pursuing this fellow, the legislature, the House of Representatives brought this DEA officer and grilled her before them. She almost passed out. Today, she doesn't speak about that anymore out of intimidation, and it's been swept under the carpet. What are we doing here? I'm sorry. As long as we have breath and God has given us some space, we will do what we can while we can to ensure that whatever we can will move this country forward. Change is inevitable. The opposition has it in their hands. Ambassador Boaka and Mr. Cummings, they have it in their hands where this country will go from here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Senator Balu. So I have to ask you this though. What progress do you see any progress in your initiative? And you are right. I remember back in 2021, the conversation about boycott Cummings from people on the ground, the voters, the citizens. They a lot of people wanted to see this ticket. A lot of people may probably do want to still see it today. What progress do you think you have made so far, and what is the probability of these two candidates coming together to talk? And do you know if there's any plans between the two of them to have a conversation anytime soon?
Well, we're doing whatever we can, and we are making some progress. There are people on both sides who would like to see this happen, and we are discussing, and the signals are positive. We don't want to seem overly optimistic, but we are confident that things will improve. And these people are leaders. They are listening to the citizens of this country. They're listening to the people. They are listening. They are not insensitive to the plight of the people. They're listening. They know the risks we run. They know. They know what is at stake. You know, I mentioned the old man, where the little boy had a bird in the back of the arm. We all know the story. And he asked the old man, is the bird alive or dead? And the old man said to him, young man, the life of the bird is in your hand. You want me to say it's alive, then you squeeze it, it died. Then if it's dead, then you let it go. So don't play those smart games with me. The life of the bird is in your hand. If you want it to live, you will let it live. You want it to die, you will let it die. Today, the life of this country and those millions of children and hundreds of thousands of children and those tens of thousands of drug addicts that we have in this country, they're all depending on leaders to provide leadership. Not what they're saying here. This is mockery of everything that democracy stands for. Ambassador Boaka, Mr. Cummings, they have it in their hands. They can let this country live or they can let it die. The expectations are high from the citizens of this country. We are raising it, but we're not alone. We're just one of the hundreds of thousands of people who sing this song. We were not the first. There were many people talking to this before us. Even as I speak, there are a lot of high-profile Liberians, eminent and prominent citizens, who are making their own visitations and saying these things. I'm getting the signals. This person was here, that person was here. And I'm grateful to that. So let all of us get on board. Whether you part of our thing, you ever made any statement, whether we know each other or not, if you have leverage and standing, go out there. That's why I challenge even President Sirleaf to get involved, to demonstrate leadership because she has what's called standing. Yes,
have you spoken to
President
Sirleaf?
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay? We've had conversations. I asked her to get involved in these things. And I'm reiterating that message again today. She's the mother of this nation. She has leverage. She has standing. Let her use it, and this will crown her own legacy. In the meantime, all those who are supporting Ambassador Boaka or Mr. Cummings, please give peace a chance. Give the people a chance. Stop sending all these negative and harsh comments on Facebook. They've had enough of it. Let them start to send the encouraging signals. This can help them to reconcile these differences. And I want to thank you for this opportunity. If you have more questions, I could gladly answer.
Yeah. Can I?
Yeah, I understand there's an online petition that's going on? Is there one that's going on to get people to sign that petition? And if so, what's the progress on that so far?
Well, I'm not the one initiating that. So if someone is doing it,
Okay.
I commend them for that. And please let them contact me so that we'll see how we can partner with that. This is precisely what we're talking about. People initiative, getting off the fence before it gets too late. Because when the glass of water is spilled and the glass is broken, it's not much we can do to repair the glass and recollect the water, spilled water. So while we still have chance, let us do that. And I commend those who are doing it. There is a group of young people, opposition task force, who got inspired by my speaking on this issue. And they came and said they organized themselves. They are young kids from Unity Party, from the ANC, the ALP, the Liberty Party, both of the factions of the Liberty Party. And they had their own press conference. And to show you how touching it was when they themselves, including some of the breakaway people from the CDC, these kids were so passionate. And the reaction, the endorsement from the public was so overwhelming. In 3 days or so, they have like 28,000 views. People were hurt that the fact that the kids had to come up, rise up to the challenge to speak truth to their leaders. Ambassador Boakai is our leader. Mr. Cummings is our leader. Yomli Kanga Lawrence, Mr. Ure, they're all our leaders. And all the other opposition blocks, leaders from their different groups, we're all leaders in here. Let us do that which we've been referred to as leaders. Let us lead. Demonstrated leadership starts from making sacrifices for the sake of others, in this case, the Nigerian people. So I commend those who are doing that online petition, and let them contact me. I'll be glad to give them all necessary assistance and boost that we all need to move forward.
Okay, thank you. To do another round of questions, comments. Kev, you go, and then Tomalin, and then Dr. Peabody. If you have any more questions or comments for Senator
Yeah,
Balu.
Senator Balu, I can see that you playing the scary tactics, that scare tactics. Oh, the ghetto, the this, the that, like it's a doomsday that happening, like the whole country. You know, sometimes I just wonder why we cannot just say the truth. Because can you tell me, under the 12 years of JMB, there was no ghetto, uh, no single drugs on the street? You're talking about a country, a post-war country, which uh, the former vice president had opportunity to to help some of our young people. He had the opportunity. But don't take my word, take his own word. He said it. He said, who squander it? We had the opportunity. He said it. If you don't believe me, believe him. But I see you come here, election season, and act like this man is a brand new man in the Liberian politics. He was there 4 years ago, 5 years ago. He he was there, and I can tell you, some of these young people you see on the street around, they are not 5 years old. Some of that 20 something years old. So how can you hold this government responsible for folks on the street who are not 5 years old? He had opportunity. He had money. He squandered it. He admitted it. And you telling people that 5 years under this president, the whole country that's when that's capsized, everything that's went away. I think you've been dishonest to the Liberian people tonight. I can tell you, Mr. Ambassador. But let me ask you this question: if the Unity Party took you serious, why, when you went there, they brought a Secretary General, Amos Twere, versus the CPP brought Musa Belite, the chairman? If they're taking you seriously, why you went there? You only spoke to Secretary, the chairman. Nobody of higher caliber was there. Uh, can you speak to that?
Well, let me take your last comments first. To answer you, when I went to the Unity Party office and I was received by the leadership of the party and those who were present, I'm the one who went there. I don't have any issue with that. I'm sorry if it bothers you, but it doesn't bother me. What I took away from there is the instantaneous response to my request that they committed the party and the bloc to a united opposition. They commended us and they thanked us and they promised to get back to us at the appropriate time. They commended us. They pledged their own commitment to the united opposition. So if that bothers you, I'm sorry, but I'm the one who went there, and none of us were bothered by that. In fact, we thanked them. We asked them, we could not have asked for more. We're trying to reconcile our bloc. We're not listening to distractions because if this may work in other places, it's not with us. The next thing you said, Ambassador Boaka, the conditions of the country are not much different. In fact, he had opportunities and he squandered them. That's another, and I'm glad, Mr. Hassan. I think you've been reading my mind. You're doing me a great service today by raising all these pertinent issues that I need to address. And thanks to you, your people will hear them. So today we speak about Ambassador Barker. One term we squandered opportunities, and that's all they got to say. Nobody can say the mayor is a thief. Nobody can say he's incompetent. Oh, we squandered opportunities. And let me speak to this issue. When a man like Ambassador Barker speaks and says, we squandered some opportunities, that's a leader who's honest, who's modest, and who's not afraid to say that things were not all perfect. There were some instances that where we could have done better. That's leadership. His principal, President Sirleaf, herself has said, this corruption thing remains so difficult to capture, to sum up. He herself referred to the education system as a mess. Do you think, in her modesty, that she was saying that we had not done anything to the education system? No. It is President Sirleaf Unity Party government that I form part of that built hundreds of schools around the country, that refurbished all of the damaged institutions, that rebuilt the Totman University, Totman College, built it to a university, furnished it as the second most funded university in the Republic. That's President Sirleaf. She put all these schools across the country, all these clinics, and furnished them with drugs. Of course, you don't know that under this government, those clinics are all there, but there are no drugs. Of course, you don't know that under this government, those clinics are there, but 50% of the workforce in the health system are all volunteers without pay. Of course, you don't know that 50% of your teachers are volunteers without pay. Of course, you don't know these things, but I'm glad you asked them so that I can let the people know about them. You've spoken about what about the rules that Ambassador Boaka should have done. and Lofa and this. Believe me, the road that is being done there today is all the work of Ambassador Boaka on the Unity Party government. Everything has been done. This government, I have yet to see a single project that they have initiated on their own, inspired on their own, and pursued any real significant project of value. But let's forget about Ambassador Boaka with Lofa. Let's speak about George Weah, the president here of the Southeast. During the campaign, they said, oh, Unity Party people are not from the Southeast, so they forgot about us. We're in another country. When George Weah gets there, he's from Grand Crew. We're in Maryland. Everything was going to be rosy. Guess what? With the last election, I was there. I raised the issue. It had been 3 years. President Weah has not gone to the Southeast. 3 years. They even said thank you. President Salif, that they were criticizing, in 3 years, she had been to Maryland 4 times already. In today, after that, President Weah went there because I publicly said to him, it is embarrassing, go back and tell the people thank you. But since he went there, it's almost 6 years. He's been in the Southeast only once. Once. How can you justify that? You have the roads to the Southeast that we could not go through. The presidents from Grand Crew, the speakers from Maryland, the deputy speaker from Grand Crew, the finance minister from Maryland, my esteemed colleague, Senator Yimpa, my longtime childhood friend, may his soul rest in peace. Public Works, he was from Sino County. With all of the resources, all of the political actors, with all of the rhetorics you preached during campaign, you could not address the road issues in Maryland. The road that we have is the road that Unity Party initiated, that we started building before I left office, that we have completed the Maryland side. And that road that should have finished 3 years ago is still dragging. The government don't see the Southeast as a priority, even though you say you're from the Southeast. So I'm glad that you're raising all these issues, Mr. Hassan. And if you have more questions, I will gladly answer. I will gladly
Okay.
answer.
Let me ask you this. My second question. Let me ask you this. All the good things you're saying under the Unity Party, Joe Buck should take credit for those good things, correct?
Of course.
So can Joe Buck take credit of Nocao? The failure? Can he take the blame? I'm sorry, of Nocao? Take the blame.
Maybe you want to ask your questions and then we'll do it. I don't want to answer it.
No, I'm just
Maybe ask
asking.
the question.
I'm just asking. Can he take the blame for Nocao, FIB Bank, all those people? Can he
So are
take
you
the
done?
blame? Since yeah,
Are
yes.
you done?
No, you answered
Are
that
you
one
done with
question.
your question?
You answered the first. You say you answered the first
Yeah.
one. Yes.
That's the
So I'm
question.
asking you this one now. Yes, sir.
And let me say to you, absolutely. Everything that happened on our watch, we assume responsibility for that. That's why Unity Party, and you raise this issue, and like I said, every time you raise this issue, you allow the country to hear these things. You call yourself
That's the closing. That's
a
the closing argument.
revolutionary government, and you say to the people of this country, we are going to have a proper approach, corruption and everything down. You are alluding to areas of potential corruption that has claimed attention of people. The Unity Party itself asked your government to audit the government of Unity Party. And like I said, way back, even when Mccay was chairperson, the Unity Party officially asked your government, audit us. President Sirleaf herself said to you to audit us if you have doubt. And you have not done anything about it? When the people themselves who stand to be the losing end challenge you to do it, you don't do it, what right do you have to speak of it? Because I say what is even worse than someone who is accused of corruption is that person who's convinced that there was corruption and doesn't do anything to pursue it. So what kind of a government is that? Do you think it's an excuse for you that tomorrow you don't want to set a precedence so that people will not acknowledge you?
You're a politician, sir. You're a politician,
Kev,
sir.
let
But I
him
think you
answer, please. Kev, let him
you're a
answer.
politician. Everything. You said it. He taking the blame. He took the blame for all the bad things. So if he took the blame of for Nokal, I'm not. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. I never heard the former vice president taking blame for all those bad things that happen under. But again, you talk about your daily blueprints, everything for the road. Why take 12 years? Even the road leading to his house that he living in the city were paved by this president. Why it took this man 12 years? The only thing the ambassador can say to me, we work on it. Why it took 12 years? But then you want to blame this president for 5 years on roads that he working on. He's not finishing, but it's ongoing. You're talking about the Nimba Road. We see a lot of development. You want to blame this president for who there 5 years, just 5 years. But the man who were there for 12 years, and you telling your Liberian people that this man is a savior with nothing to show for. And by the way, before I let you come, by the way, it's not the first time JMB squandered opportunity. JMB had opportunity in the government, he squandered it, and he was fired. So he had opportunity, opportunity, and he squandered all those opportunity. Nothing. So he's not now his first time JMB having opportunity. So let me that clear for the Liberian people. He was heading the Green Revolution, was fired. That was a great opportunity for us to feed ourselves. You can go on, sir.
You know, such is democracy and the freedom of speech. We are all entitled to our opinion. I mean, I can understand that at a time like this, a statesman like Ambassador Boaka would be spoken to in this manner because of the politics. And he takes it because he knows that's part of the game, that's the society, that's where it is. But people like us who know him, we're not there to speak of him in this manner. You're talking about all the things you said about him. Nobody ever claimed that Unity Party government was a perfect government. No. But mind you, the conditions on which we met this country was a completely collapsed and failed state. No institutions, no international recognition, no banks, no airlines, no embassies, no universities, no hospitals. People were taking pay every 6 months, 3 months. The salaries were $20 a month. You know, sometimes I hear the young people speak of the way they speak, and I say, may God forgive them, for they know not what they're doing, what they're saying. President Sirleaf, with her team, including her principal deputy, Ambassador Joseph Yuma Boakai, transformed this country for the better. We waived $5 billion debt. By the way, you are now elevating the debt burden to almost to the same level. We attracted all the international attention. All the leaders of the world ran to Liberia to visit. I've not seen one world leader except our immediate neighbors who come here. President Sirleaf was decorated everywhere she went under her government, to the point that I make reference all the time that she was placed a medal of honor before the Joint Congress of the United States by the president himself, George Bush. When is it ever going to dawn on us that this government and the president has not met the expectations of people at home and abroad. And I don't blame the President Weah. He's a fine gentleman. The man is a sportsman. I love him as a footballer. What did he do? He didn't do anything. I said to the people in this country, the man was playing his sports. He was living his life of a star. He was hanging out every time, having a good time, big cars, living large, nightlife. And you thought you need to make him a president because he's popular. So it's not his fault that he's failed so miserably. It's not his fault that the government has failed so miserably. It's the fault of the people who don't know what they want, who made the wrong choice. When you do things for the right reasons, you have the right results. When you do it for the wrong reasons, you have the wrong results. So thank God for that, the people have learned. Today, we're moving forward. We're closing the chapter. We're not going to go back to war. We're not going to do coup d'etat. We're not going to do rebellion. We're going to take advantage of the provision of democracy. That's why we need to unite and win this election. So stop talking about things that this government has done when you know in reality they've done nothing. Stop talking about the government own projection that we have surpluses in the budget, but you can't pay the workers and you're cutting their salaries. And the president will come up at the 11th hour. You say we wrong the people, let's give them back their salaries. We got them below the minimum wage. You didn't know that you were cutting the salaries of the poor families so that your people can live large, the best of cars, and travel all over the world, huge delegations, selfie and photographs all over the world, partying and partying. Don't you know that there were human lives at stake?
Nobody's
That
salary
today you
was
say
cut,
like,
sir.
election is coming, so we're going to put it there. So we're not going to blame the president. I'm not going to blame him. You cannot hold a man accountable for his inability to deliver. You put him there. So we're going to quietly see what we can do respectfully, because he still maintains a place in the society, and I still respect him. And I will not allow myself or anybody to disrespect him. But let's just move him so that we can do serious work. Because in a 6 years
Thank you,
recess of
Senator.
development and progress, this country has suffered dearly.
Thank you, Senator Balu. On Tomalin, your question.
Yeah, my question, Senator Balut. I call some names of those who on the short list of running mates for the candidates. In your efforts to bring the opposition together, have you reached out to any of these players? Have you reached out to Senator Yombly, Mr. Costa, Kofi Woods, and Jeremiah Kuhn? Have you reached out to any of these names that will be here on both sides? Have you already reached out to them also to put them in the discussion?
Well, we're reaching out to everyone. We have meetings pending. I'm sending text messages every time to meet with some of them. Just today, I sent a message to Senator Lawrence. You understand? And to message what a lot of people. I'm still reaching out to Senator Lawrence and a very esteemed colleague of mine. I was in the Senate when she came in as a freshman, and then she inspired me as one of the most intelligent women I've ever come across. Very committed, a woman of integrity, of real substance. She is, someone that I partner with on many issues. She knows we respect each other. And I haven't met with Mr. Costa, and I hope to meet with him. Mr. Senator Kuhn, I hope to meet with him. These are people I'm going to reach out to. And because they all play a very significant role in the opposition bloc. And I'm hoping any day to have this opportunity to have a constructive dialogue. I wish we can find a way forward.
Okay.
But yes, besides these names, I've met with almost all the other names.
Okay. Dr. Peabody, you can chime in, and we'll be taking phone calls within the next 10 minutes. So I hope our producers are getting the phone lines ready for us to start taking calls very, very soon. Go ahead, Dr. Peabody.
Ambassador Balut, let me ask you this. My question is going to be two in one, so this is my final question. See that you have a lot of passion for the young people on the street, the drugs and other things that happen in our country. and talk a lot about the young people, their life, and how they are suffering going down. But how will you respond to critics who said that you were there for about 12 years and did not sponsor a bill that will help these young people? And my last question is, what are you going to do if this whole new party unification and that you are advocating for, if it doesn't work, what are you going to do? What do you plan to do?
Well, let's take the last one first. If this doesn't work, I would say when we get to that bridge, we will decide how we cross the bridge. Okay? So I would rather just not second guess or to move forward on things that still before us in the future. You asked me, I was there, and I hear it all the time. Oh, you were there, and it was the same. No, it wasn't the same. No, I'm sorry. It wasn't the same. These institutions were supported, they were funded. We knew the strategic role, and they were funded. My problem is, why are you cutting the budget? Why you think that the DEA will go without logistics? They don't have no bikes, they don't have no vehicles. None. The last time I met with them, they had just spoken about how the government they have received about 3 vehicles, 1 truck and 2 cars for the entire country with 1,000 ghettos, tens of thousands of drug addicts. You know, that's worse than being a criminal towards those children. Now, forget about all of that. Why do we allow these major drug importers to be in the country without any harassment, without any intimidation, without no action taken? Why would you even allow the drug law to go through this thing? Something that we were working on to revise the drug law when we were there before I left. How come that this is finally passed in the House, the Senate amends it, so they have to go for a conference, and how come the legislature have not been able to reconcile the differences and pass it before they close this term? How come the president has not said anything significant about drugs in the State of the Nation address, the last State of the Nation address, something as significant as the drugs that's killing the children? How come? How come? So if people say we were there, yes, we were there. Yes, these same situations existed, but not like this. And these institutions were funded. And so when you start to allow people to become DEA officers, volunteers, 50% of them because they have a CDC ID card, and they're all along the highways, makeshift checkpoints, facilitating the drug trade. They're not taking pay. How? So a lot of things are happening, but I can say to you, they are not being supported. You talk about these institutions. We had a lot of things with the auditors. We have the General Auditing Commission. We had an internal audit, anti-corruption commission. Our government were targeted in some of these audits. You didn't see 4 or 5 or 4, how many auditors died with some chicken sickness in town, unexplained? We didn't have our government with that kind of record, that is just damaging record that just came out of the United States Human Rights Report. You didn't have your Minister of State indicted for corruption, sanctioned, and then you just ask them to resign. Your Solicitor General, the man from the NPA, and you just ask them to resign, and you're still dealing with them as though they are all idiots around here. The people are campaigning with your T-shirt. They are in your parade campaigning with you. You put the fate of the country at risk with these serious international partners because of your petty relationship, friendship you have with them. And so the entire ship of all these poor people should go down the drain because of your relationship, your friends with your. Let's be serious. If there is a will, there is a way. There's no will. And that's why I don't want to waste my time arguing with this government. I don't blame them. The best thing we can do is to take advantage of what democracy provides for. We have a rendezvous with democracy in October. All I'm asking us to put our act together and to be prepared and steal a show on that day.
So, Senator, before we go to the phone lines, are there any other plans this
just
week?
quickly, just quickly. What were some of the things we did for these young people that we're saying about as a senator myself? There was a young youth entrepreneurship development program that was brought in by the government through the Ministry of Youth and Sports that we have budgeted in the $15 million budget, where $6 million of that should have started vocational schools across the country, and that should have gone across to build vocational schools, and the young people develop entrepreneurial skills with the cleaning of the cities and with the city mayor, different city corporations. Unfortunately, they didn't go through with the vocational school. And who was in charge of those things with those people? Minister Tuer, your finance minister, or CDC man was in charge of that program with Unity. Allen Johnson said I placed him there. And it didn't go through. They brought that same program back to me. I put my foot on it and blocked it because I told them until you can go back and build the vocational schools. We put a bill on the floor. You asked with the input of law, who put a bill on the floor to call for the National Student Loan Program? That irrespective of your family, your tribe, your religion, your party affiliation, any student desirous of higher education can access loan through this higher education office and go to university, go to technical school. Once completed your schooling, you can work and pay back. These are bills that we put on the floor. And is it all that we did to this? No. As a senator of Maryland, a partner of my colleague then, Senator Dan Moraes, and we passed a bill changing the high school in the district to a vocational school as well, multilateral and a vocational school. And did they go through? No, because you have very same people from the CDC who is the representative of that district fighting with Senator Moraes over this so as to not carry credit, and today that school was not built because of the confusion that ensued with them. No. We did what we could do while we were there under the circumstances. Judy Bryan government received less than what the Unity Party-led government received. We received less than what the CDC government received. What we've given to the CDC government was near paradise compared to what we received. We receive a country without roads, without electricity, without water, without schools, without jobs, without concessions, without embassies, without airlines, with the debt burden of plus $5 billion. We attracted investment of over $20 billion. We provided opportunity. We gave the country a new lease on life. Everything that we've done has been brought down to the knees by this government. Please, let's go ahead.
Like what? Like what being brought down? Like what? Like what? Give me
Like what?
Like what? Give me specific.
Let me help you.
Like what?
Can I answer? Good. And I'll
Yeah,
answer
go
you.
ahead, Senator, and then we'll move on.
When we take the people's salaries from $20 a month and we take it up to $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $500, $300 to the minimum of $150, and you come to power and you say 150 is too much and you reduce the people's salary to $75, that's undoing what we did.
Harmonization? Are you talking about harmonization?
I will not be interrupted. I will not
Are
be
you
interrupted.
talking
Keff,
about
I will answer your
Keff,
question.
do not interrupt the senator. Keff, keep interrupting, please, don't. And we gotta get to the phone lines as well.
To people that you affiliated
Keff.
with, your friends, them, you call them, you give your friends
Keff,
$3,000.
you asked the senator a question and said like what? He said he will gladly answer. So please, can you let the senator answer and then we got to move on. Once he answers that question, we got to move on. Thank you. Go ahead, Senator Balu. Sorry for that interruption.
We had attracted enormous attention, interest into the banking sector of Liberia. So we had to put a cap on the ceiling for the number of banks that we could entertain. So all these banks you saw, they came flowing, running over to Liberia. All these banks are gone from the city centers in these districts to the different districts in the counties. Today, they have all left the interior of all those districts. Today, they are closing on some of those counties. Why? Because of your economy, the way you manage it, the way you work with them. Today, when we were there, we built hundreds of schools and furnished those schools. Today, these schools, the teachers are not even taking pay. The salaries are cut. You have volunteers on 50% of them. We have hospitals built all over, funded with drugs. Today, you don't have drugs in any of those places. People are dying from curable diseases. And you want to say how we have arrived at it? We have put in all this, the debt we have waived, the $5 billion debt. Today, what's the debt burden now of Liberia? You elevating it. We've attracted $20 billion plus of investment. The interest was there. Where is the interest today with the number of investment coming to this country? We had attracted the international attention that gave your country the rising star, your president, the superstar. Everywhere she went, she received red carpet, she was honored. Where have we been invited? Who has come to our country? What is it that's come out of our partnership? President Sirleaf traveled every time she came back with development packages. Can you say the same about this government? You carry 10 times bigger delegation. President Sirleaf was satisfied to ride in a business class in this airline with other passengers. But your first thing you want to do is to have a private jet from a friend, not understand a conflict of interest and saying your friend wants to boost your morale. That's the kind of level that people bring to leadership. Please, you don't want me to go into details. There's a marked difference, there's a marked departure from the standards that we are putting forth in this country. And we have brought ourselves down to the level, but we're not complaining about it. We've done it before. We can do it again. That's why we need to provide the kind of leadership this country deserves.
Okay, Senator, thank you so much, Keff. We are done. We are done. We are done. Let me just ask my last question, Keff. There is nothing else that you can say. No, we are done. I'm sorry. You can say what you need to say in your closing statement, but we are done. Just have one last question for the senator. Senator, are there any other plans this week that you have in place as you continue your advocacy to bring Ambassador Boyka and Mr. Cummings together? Are there any other plans that are in place for this week? And then we'll go to the phone lines. We can go to the phone lines.
Yes, I have pending meetings with Ambassador Boyka. And I know Mr. Cummings is out. I have pending meeting. I'm arranging a meeting with Mr. Cummings. I'm meeting with his people. Right now, we're having a lot of meetings, a lot of discussions. And I don't think it necessary, neither wise, interested in a united opposition. This, for me, is the premise from which our optimism is grounded.
Okay, thank you so much. So at this time, we're going to take a quick 60-second break, and then when we come back, we'll go to the phone lines. Thank you so much, Senator Balu.
Thank you.
Studio. Okay, and welcome back. Welcome back. And I see the senator is not on yet. Dr. Peabody had to go. Okay, there he is. He is back. So at this time, we are going to take calls The phone numbers are displayed on the screen. 231-775-603360, 231-8806-0330. So we're going to start taking calls now. Studio, are we set to take calls?
Yes.
Okay.
We can still be talking to this guy.
Should we continue on talking until, are we ready?
A call on the line.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, you're live.
Yeah, this is Alvin Jogi. We are calling from Central of the Ginger.
Let's hear you. 1 minute.
Thank you so much for the show, and I highly appreciate God to hear your voices again. According to the ambassador, I appreciate his person, but I want him to know that you cannot compel or force anybody to join. That is their decision. They're supposed to make that decision, that personal decision. You cannot compel somebody say you must marry the woman or the woman must marry you. No, that's your vote. That's your choice. So the matter of choice left with them, and you cannot force them. So that is a lazy argument. Thank you. Good night.
Well, thank you. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Yes, you're live.
Oh, this is Emmanuel, and I called from Minnesota.
Go ahead.
I have a question for Senator Baru. You know, you have to be fair. If you actually pushing the commission of Waka ticket, that's fine. But to lie to the Liberian people is something that we will not take. Senator Baru was senator, and 66 Bucos concession agreement passed through him. He did nothing. He was senator. The young people of Maryland went into urgent poverty. What did team do? That's the first question. The second question for Senator Barry, you need to understand. The 12 years United Party spent in power, can he name a single rehabilitation center that the United Party constructed? Or he as senator, can he name a single rehabilitation center that he constructed in Maryland?
Thank you.
These are my
All
questions.
right. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
Rehabilitation center that the United Party constructed.
Hello?
Yes, you're live. Go ahead.
This is Ivan Chen. I call from the borough of Newtown.
Let's hear you.
Okay, I want to say this to Senator Balu. Like the closing argument that is on, if you find no sustainability plan of that closing argument, you find nothing at the end. DRI came and they left because there was no sustainability. They had a lot of companies who came to Labrador. They just brought it on a 4G basis. There was no sustainability that I'm in Labrador like this today because they never had a sustainability plan. They only brought out company just to show face that we brought in company. So that's another value. Leave the people of Labrador alone, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Yes, you're live. Go ahead.
All right. So, thank you for having me on the platform today. I just want to say something to the senator in studio there, right?
What's your name?
They have to.
What's
He
your
have
name?
to. I'm James Samuel from of North Dakota.
Okay.
So he just have to. He just have to be very much sincere to himself. He's an older man and he been a senator in that country for the past 12 years. And they gotta be very sincere because I hear him talking about people unemployment rate in the country and other stuff, right? You know that Adding government did not employ a lot of Liberians. They got to look at the ratio. I want you to be very much sincere instigated and tell the Liberian people that their government did not employ a lot of Liberians compared to this government. But because all men were in the country and you have thousands of NGOs in the country because we just left war at the time, so the NGOs and all men had a lot of Liberians working over there. But their government did not employ a lot of Liberians. That's why you see we have a lot of foreigners were in our government or penetrating the system and other things because Eddie took a lot of our friends from Nigeria, America, and other area, they employ them over there. But now he's sitting in studio talking about drugs business and other stuff. What did he do 12 years ago? Did he build any rehabilitation center for these people after the war, knowing that right after the war there will be drugs and other things that will be all in the country flowing? You did nothing. But then now, because he wants to give relevant after he left the political scene for a very long time, nobody knows Mr. Balo is still over there. Now people know him, but he wants to come back to resurface. That's why he's spending all the lives over there. Look, you are an older
Thank
man.
you,
You need to
caller.
stop doing that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Next call.
Good evening.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, you're live.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I listen to this show. I'm in America. My name is Ambrose. I'm calling from Kentucky.
Yeah,
I've
try to
listened to
be
the
a
show
bit
from the
audible,
beginning to the
please.
end. Yeah, hello. Can
Okay,
you hear
go
me?
ahead. Go ahead.
Can you hear me? Hello.
Go ahead. You're live. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for taking my call, and thanks to the panelists and the guests. But I'm a little bit troubled. When the senator, I don't know if you said, well, Mr. Barker, brother-in-law sued him for cooking him out of the land. When he said Joseph Barker not have no allegation of corruption or anything that had to do with character assassination, but I don't know if you said, well, he's supposed to go to court on the 22nd. If he said, well, that Joseph Barker went and pleaded to the judge, he was sick, his lawyer told the judge he was sick, so he couldn't attend go support for that land dispute. So how come, and he said Joseph Barker is a clean man, but his father-in-law is suing him, who lives in America, is suing him for cooking him out of his land.
Thank
And my
you.
first
Thank you,
question,
caller, because we don't know anything about that.
can you allow me one more time? Since Jackie, I beg you, can you just give me one more minute? Yes, but my next thing got to do is, when Keff started asking, he talking about the government did wonderful things. But how come a five brother, just because they gave the Unity Party a space to make a political headquarters, some of them were making 35,000 a month in Liberia. Somebody making 35,000 a month, and he want to talk about people suffering about 150.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you
So
very much.
we gotta be honest and be truthful. If we want to change our country,
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Yes, you're live.
I'm Richard Yossi, and I called from Australia this morning.
Okay.
Am I okay?
Yes, you're okay.
Yeah. This morning, I'm so disgusted. I'm so confused to see the former senator sitting in studio this morning, lying with a dry face, not even thinking about the Liberian people. Where was Senator Palu when the Unity Party government had all the investment, but did not even leave a single rehabilitation behind? They did the Ara program that was introduced in our country. They sat down there. People who did not even fight the war benefited from that program. Whereby the real doer of the act, they were really the people that you can call about them. Who's supposed to go to rehabilitation? Who knows what the rehabilitation? Senator Balu is in studio is telling us that Bwaka is the right man. Where were he when he signed the citizenship agreement? Where were he? He and the Joseph Bwaka. You gotta stop joking with our country. For 12 years, you could not make the country better. You cannot compare job. We have 6 years, the 5 years, to at least 12 years. The 5 years is better than the 12 years.
Thank you, caller.
The investment pack you can pass in front of. 12 years, you could not make that place beautiful. But this government could change it. You need to be truth to the people and try to your real intention. Your intention is you want to come on the political scene. And that's why you involve yourself with the issue called you want to bring people together. Only because you want to be seen on the political scene. And you are not relevant because you are given the opportunity and you misuse it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Good evening.
yes. Good evening.
Yes, you're live. Go ahead.
Yes. Thank you very much. My name is Abraham Conant. I would like to take this opportunity to extend my regards to the senator in the studio there. But there are a lot of things that have been mentioned by the senator that are just to be disingenuous to the Liberian people.
Senator Balu, you are sitting in the studio, scaring out the fact that government cut down salary. And you had the courage, the temerity, and the stomach to take in an annual basis $210,000 per annum in the poor country like Liberia. For 12 years, you didn't complain about that. The country, the infrastructure development of that country completely dilapidated. Even up to your own Maryland country that used to literally have to take helicopter to go home. And you took that money for 12 years. Cumulatively, calculate that. If a government comes in that is strangulated and try to harmonize salary so that at least some money can be directed to the infrastructure development, I don't think you got the moral standing to come stay here and then talk about salary being cut. That's one. Two, you can't point to any infrastructure development that you built for the Zogos that are in the street today. You understand me? So it's important that you guys stop misleading the people in a direction that you benefited for 12 years.
Thank you.
Are there any calls from Liberia?
Yes. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, you're live.
Yes, this is Melvin Wagonto.
Go ahead.
From Mount Bagley.
Let's hear you.
Yeah. Firstly, I'm very disappointed tonight in Senator Balu.
Okay.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Hello.
Ahead.
Yeah.
Stop listening to the monitor. Just go ahead.
Yes. I'm disappointed tonight in Senator Balu because he was on the scene for 9 years as senator. Senator Balu got no history of party, even up to 5 bills in 9 years. He did not do that. He talked about drug addiction in Monrovia. He was listening for 9 years. Did not pass one bill that even criminal issue at all. They all sat there and they came over incrementally. They today what kind of they just screen up for America. We are disappointed in Sebalu. He said 9 years. Nothing could do to we have to recommend to all these erasing. Where are he?
Thank you.
Thank you, caller. So those who are calling today, we've been talking about whether or not JMB tickets, there should be a JMB ticket. So with the callers, we will take a few more calls. If you are calling, please stick to the topic because we are talking about the JMB, whether or not the JMB Cummings ticket and the effort that has been put in place by Senator Balu to unite Ambassador Boyka and Mr. Cummings on one ticket. So let's stick to that because that's why we're having this show at this moment.
Good evening.
Yes, you're live. Go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Joe Wega, and I'm calling from St. Paul Bridge.
Let's hear you.
Yeah, I listened to Senator John Balu saying all of the good things, but Mr. Balu refused to tell us that the IMF told us that Liberians were living on $1 a day during the regime. He forgot to tell us about that. And also, Mr. Balu forgot to tell us that during the regime, Liberia ate on a dumpster. He forgot to tell us about that. And now, I want to say this to Senator Balu. Where was Senator Balu when Joseph Yuma Boyka and Benena Yue were testifying against Arizona Cummings in court? Where were he?
Okay.
I think another time he should have called for a united opposition. For now, calling for a united opposition where they have spoiled the character of Arizona Cummings. So I'm not think that ticket it will hold. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll take maybe about 4 more callers. Please stick to the issue. Thank you.
Yes, you're live. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is Smith Lulu, and I call you from Panelists.
Yes, Smith. Thank
you so much for the show. Thanks for the wonderful deliberation. I have one question for Senator Balu, who has indicated that the Cummings and Boyka ticket is a winnable ticket. Election is based on data, previous data to give people basic information. In the last election, 2017, Sabota had a stronghold, which is Lofa, and then Kumi doesn't have a stronghold. How can the Liberian people believe that indeed these two, when they go on one ticket, will be a winnable ticket? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Amara, let's hear you.
Yeah, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good day in general, depending where you are.
Go ahead.
My name for the public is Amara M. Fufana, and I flew in from Electoral District number 12, Monserrado County. Let me salute the distinguished senator, once a senator, always a senator, former Senator John Balu of Maryland County. I listened to some callers and I attentively follow the deliberation, and in fact, let me qualify it, the passionate and patriotic deliberation from Senator Balu, except for the blind loyalists. Yes, let us agree that Honor Madam Salif, there might have not been a rehabilitation center. But indeed, everybody will agree that the Morovia Vocational Training Center was brought to a state-of-the-art, turned to the National Vocational Training Center, Honor Madam Salif. That was the Unity Party government. Though I am a former member of the Unity Party, but we have to speak truth to power. Today, back then, the issue of inflow of drugs into Liberia cannot be compared to today. The over $1 million United States worth of drugs that were caught under this government right on the Somalia draft and that was swept under the carpet. You heard that. There was no day under Madam Salif that we ever heard about even 50,000 worth of cocaine that came into this country.
Thank you.
Why people want to shoot the thing under the carpet? Just give me a bit of minute. Let me close on it. Please, just give me 30 seconds. Let me close on a closing argument. We are talking about the interest of Liberia here, and we are not talking about loyalty to an individual. There is a new drug in town they call Kush. It just came in less than 1 month. The DEA carry less than 500,000 as an annual project. You getting me? The DEA were more effective on Madam Salif than today. And then it is being so in the open, like the way people sell apples and
Thank
oranges
you, caller.
in the street.
Well, thank you, Amara.
So we need
Thank you.
You're most
Thank you,
welcome.
caller. We got to go to the next call. Thank you so much for your contribution. Can we take like 3 more calls and then we'll be done? We'll move on.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, you're live. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to give my contribution. Listen, I'm going to stick to the topic. I'm coming from VA, by the way. I'm going to stick to the topic like Miss Jackie told us to stick to it. Senator, actually, I'm someone who, unlike most of the people who call, I actually want to commend you for this project because I know it takes a lot to try to and unify the opposition. And I just want to say thank you for the work that you're doing. My only problem here, though, is that we're hearing a lot about the who, Cummings, Mccay. What about the why and the what? Why should we vote for them? Why should we accept this ticket? And it's not enough to just say, okay, that's the only opposition that can, defeat President Weir. That's not enough of a reason. What benefits is it going to get to the common Liberian people? You haven't done a good job selling this ticket to us. Talk about the benefits. How is it going to better our life in the future? We see a lot of division amongst the opposition right now. Why should we vote for them? We can't wait until they get to power to resolve the division. We have to see that. I mean, we all know about, the devil you don't know and all of that stuff. So please do a better job selling that to us. I just want to close on this. April 21st, second phase of voter registration. I'm urging everyone who can go out to register to vote. Please do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, caller, for sticking to the topic.
Hello.
Good evening. We take 2 more
Please
calls.
stick to the topic. Next caller.
Closing argument, right?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes.
Yes. Can I go ahead?
Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. This is Jonathan Botter Williams. I'm calling you from St. Paul Bridge. I'm on holiday from my office. My one point I wanted to make to your invitee is that I don't know if he listened to whether he listened to 50-50 program today. There was this Martin Cole from LP. He made a point which I wanted this gentleman to clarify.
Quickly.
The point he made was that he said that UP should.
Well, we gotta hold you there because you are not coming forth with that. Good evening.
One more call.
Good evening. Caller, your live. Go ahead.
My name is Augustus P. Flomo, and thanks for having me. Your studio guest, I forgot his name, I think he's a former senator. I think his advocacy and his pitch that the opposition should unite to face George Weah, I think is very dishonest and it's wrong place. And I'll tell you why. If that man is honest for the opposition to come together, why should he favor Joe Walker on over Alex Cummings? I'm saying this because if you look at their placard, if you look at their billboard, Joseph Walker is big in the front and Mr. Alex Cummings is small in the back. From all political campaign, we know that the guy who is big in the front is the guy who is going for the presidential slot, and the guy in the background is the guy who is going for the vice presidential slot. So if you really want these guys to come together, why are you further dividing them by pitching one to be the president and the other one to be the vice president, which means you are not serious about it. And I heard that you are a United Party partisan. If you want to pitch Joe Buckeye, just go and pitch Joe Buckeye and forget about Alex Cummings. In conclusion, has Joe Buckeye ever told you that he wants Alex Cummings to be his vice president? Henry Costa has unequivocally said that the old man does not want Joe Buckeye. He does not want Alex Cummings. So why are you pitching this wrong narrative and behaving like you want united opposition? You are further dividing them, and you should stop it.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me, and God bless you.
Thank you for your contribution. That's it. We're not taking any more calls. Well, Senator Balu, you have a handful. It seems like, from what I gather from the callers, a lot of them were talking about rehabilitation. And also, you heard the last caller, which I think is a valid question. So please go ahead and respond to the callers.
Well, when you listen to the callers, then you see why we need to save this country and move it forward. And we're doing it for them. People of wisdom. And in Liberia, we do have our fair share of wise people. People of wisdom, whether you're in a village or in a city, at a university, or on a farm, those wise ones must hold together so that we can save this country and provide for those who are speaking in such manner that you yourself wonder where they're thinking from. It is sad that anybody will have problem with people coming together to participate in the elections. But then again, I understand where they're coming from. I understand from their utterances that they are supporters of the CDC. And of course, they will not be happy. I told you, this Joseph Yumo Bwaga Alex Cummings ticket is a nightmare for the CDC. They don't want it to happen. And of course, they can't stomach the fact that people can speak the truth to the issues here. And so for them, and because of them, that's why we're doing this. Now, let's come to the caller, the one who spoke. I mean, clearly, he has his opinion on it. And because we are now advancing in a new phase of our advocacy, I don't want to start stirring things up. Because on one of the talk shows, specifically the Spoon, when I had written a letter, because we were very clear on the matter, we were opting for Ambassador Bwakai, Stena Bearer, and Cummings, Vice Stena Bearer, Mr. Cummings. And we provided reasons why. And we said to people, the fact that they were sorting these things out, we never intervened. But since these talks are broken down and people are going separate ways at high speed, and the clock is ticking, they're about to announce the bystander bearers, we decided to raise this issue and elevate it to another level. That's what we're doing. But what is our argument and what's the basis for it? We said to you, Ambassador Boakai is the most experienced politician in the country today. He is the most exposed to the challenges, opportunities, and prospects of Liberia. He was there when it was broken down. He was there when we pick up the broken pieces together. He was in all of the negotiation, all of the goodwill, all of this international partnerships and boost. He was there. He knows. Now, with all of these things, we say clearly, his record is intact. For those who say and they want to question it, let him go ahead. There are provisions in the law to justify your claims on issues. Until then, we stick to what's before us. He is a man of very good character and standing in society. That's why we put him forward, because of this man in the last election, because sometimes people say, okay, in the last election got twice the vote of all the other opposition leaders together. So in terms of numerical strength, he also has an edge. In terms of his age, this man is in his late 70s. Someone who is vice president and someone who's been groomed to be president. Ambassador Boakai at this age is not up to remain in politics after 6 years. On the other hand, Mr. Cummings is the one who stands to benefit from acquiring first-hand knowledge and experience that propels him to be a 10-time better president than even Ambassador Boakai would be, because he would have been properly groomed and prepared, backed by his business acumen. Finally, having said all of this, and you know that with the kind of a status and the kind of a position Ambassador Boakai enjoys as the father of the nation, the father of the opposition bloc, the leader, de facto leader of the opposition. So all of this, coupled with the fact that he is the most senior elderly statesman, we opted to vote for him. Mr. Cummings, on the other hand, I said to people, is the most competent in this country today, propelled to deal with our economy, deal with our institutions, law and order, rule of law, and all of these values. Cummings is not one of the most competent, or one of the most competent in Liberia, or one of the most competent in the entire world. Alexander Cummings, by no form or measure, can be reduced to a lot of people who are saying things negatively about him. So, for us, it is not just about winning election. It's about what do you do with the elections once you have acquired the popular mandate of the people. And that's where he comes in. And I said it clearly, Ambassador Boakai is the man of the hour. He will win the election and save this country. Mr. Cummings is the man of tomorrow. Upon him, we shall build a great nation. We have to take this unique, indispensable winning team, and that's why we support it. So, the last caller, similar answer goes to him, the one before the last. He says, we are talking about the what or the how, but we're not addressing the why and the what. We addressed the why. Maybe he wasn't listening. To win this election, you have to unite the opposition bloc. Right now, they're split in half. To unite the opposition bloc, you have to bring the leaders of the opposition bloc together. And to do that, that means you have to bring Mr. Boakai and Mr. Cummings together. That is why. And we've been talking about this. For people who say, where were you? Yes, we talk about this thing every step of the way. As the CPP was degrading and disintegrating, we were there and we were speaking to these issues. Someone said, when we were there, we've done nothing about rehabilitation center. Someone said, I cannot prove to where I have built something from my pocket. As a politician, as a statesman, as a senator, we've done a lot of things from our pocket. But no wise senator, elected official, will want to speak of things that he done from his pocket as part of his legacy on his work. Because nowhere in the books or any standard of democracy of the Senate or the House of Representatives are you required to use money from your pocket. You are required to use the budget. You are required to use the leverage you enjoy as a sitting senator, the authority you have to influence the oversight that you have. You are required to use the most significant law in the country, which is the budget. Negotiate, lobby, and abstract from that budget development projects for your citizens. Yes, you are required to build roads, hospitals, schools, rehab, and everything, but you're supposed to use the budget process. And yes, why the drug was not as alarming as before, do you have the ES Grant Hospital in Dupo Road that was funded by the Unity Party government, but funded by all of our donors that we have directed attention under the same auspices of JFK. So nobody can claim that nothing was done there. What is sad is, as you open the floodgate of drugs, and then what is even worse, that you cut the budget of DEA. And it takes you 5 years before you can start to do something that we have been complaining about. Yes, do it. It had to take someone like DeLong to attribute his development project money that he got into that kind of venture. And I commend him for that. So no, I'm sorry. I'm not expected to take money from my pocket. I'm expected to use the budget process. I'm expected to use the laws. I'm expected to use my oversight and representation to be able to deliver all these things. Now, and of course, it's so sad in this country that most people don't understand that. So people amass wealth, they use money from their pocket, they attract popularity, they get elected. And so once they get elected, they don't have to do anything in the legislature. They don't have to exert oversight. They don't have to exert all these things that they maintain. Let's go to someone who said, what justification we have.
Senator, we have 2 minutes to go, but the studio are calling on us, so we got
Okay, good.
a
So then
couple
I'll
of
just take
minutes
this
left.
last question.
And in your
What justification?
closing, please quickly say something about voter registration, because it's about to just quickly, because we know the next phase will be starting on April 21st.
So how many minutes do I have now?
2 minutes.
And that's it. We're closing everything at the same time, right?
Yes, please.
Okay. So what justification I have that this is a winning ticket and the numbers and all these things I've said? When Joseph Newman Bwaga lost in Lofa, yes, he lost in Lofa because the opposition was divided. But what justification I get that the CPP win first round? So look at the midterm election, where CDC got only 3 votes, 3 seats out of 15 counties. So that's the justification. And so let me conclude by, before closing, to encourage everyone to take advantage of additional opportunity we have to register to vote, because that's the only way you can change your story according to democracy, through a peaceful transition. Participate, be valuable. To be able to vote, you must be registered. Otherwise, you lose your opportunity. So yes, we will not fight each other. We will register and we will exercise our democratic franchise. We will go to the polls and we will vote and we will change the government. But to do that, you have to register. And on this note, let me say to all those who've been saying all these negative things, I'm not bothered by that. I've been in politics for a long time. You grow to have elephant skin in that. And people who speak the way they speak, that's precisely because of people like this we need to change this country. We have allowed our country to go down the drain because we've not educated our people. And today, we're living the consequences of that. For this story to change, we have to educate our people, we have to provide opportunities for them, and we have to make things work. Jobs. People have spoken that this government have given more people jobs. Where? In government? Government is not where you employ people. You double the civil service in government. There's a term called gainfully employ, not cosmetic employment. You give people jobs and you don't pay them. You give people jobs, you pay them $75 a month. That cannot feed them families. That cannot take care of them. So stop playing. That's mockery. That's making fun of the people. So when you speak of jobs, you say you're giving jobs in government. No. Create the environment that the public sector can thrive and create jobs for opportunity for the citizen. Ambassador Mccay and Mr. Cummings remain the hope that some of us who mean well for this country, in our numbers, we hinge our hopes on these people. And we look forward to it, and we appeal to them in the most respectful way, in the most humble way. As they look at all of the challenges to reconcile the differences, let them divert attention to the poor children, the poor young people who don't have a choice, who don't have life, who today are insulting their leaders, and the following people who are insulting their leaders. And the thing is the new norm in the society. You want to be a man today? Use F word, insult people, damage other people, insult and say negative things, scheme. That's how it is today in Liberia. But I have news for you. Liberia was not
30
always
more
like this.
seconds.
It
Okay.
was not always like this. It was a great country before. And with us coming together and people who know where we are the last generation of the society that gave to its citizens. We benefited. We are under obligation to give back to this country. So Ambassador Mccay and Mr. Cummings is the channel by which we can do that. And we employ them, we beg them, we appeal to them to not let us down. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much. You have said a lot, and thank you for your initiative. I hope in the end it will be fruitful. As you continue your advocacy for the merge for one ticket with Ambassador Boyka and Mr. Cummings. And people keep asking just yes or no. Are you still, they wanted to know if you're still a member of the United Party. So I think one of the callers asked that question.
No, 2020, I
Okay.
resigned from the Unity Party to allow
So
me
you with the
contest in the
CPP
election.
now? Okay.
I
So are
am,
you
I, it's important to note, I am pro-Liberia. I know what's
okay?
good for this country, and I'm on the side of those who want to make it better. And we will side with
Okay.
those who want to make it better. Right now, in the interest of the reconciliation, I have chosen to maintain my neutral space that allows me to be objective and truth to the issue. When we've crossed this boundary, we'll realign ourselves and reestablish our political party membership. Thank you.
Thank you. And we look forward to having you back on our show. Whether it works out, even if it doesn't work out, we look forward to having you back so we can discuss further regarding what we discussed today. Thank you so much, Senator Balouf, for
You're welcome.
gracing this occasion and for being here with us on this program today. It was wonderful having you, and we look forward to seeing you again on the closing argument. And best of
Thank
luck.
you. Thank you. I appreciate it. And St. Dominic George, thank you for reaching out. Thank you. I appreciate it. Bye.
Bye-bye. Well, folks, there you have it. Senator Baloo, he made his case. Will Mr. Cummings and Ambassador Boyka be on one ticket? That remains to be seen. And hopefully over the next couple of weeks, we will have the answer to that question. Our closing word, 1 minute each, because we got to go. Go ahead, Keff, and then Tomalin.
Well, the caller said it all. I think from the standpoint of Webb and my party, I think I love to see GMB, us going against GMB. I think it's a very, very easy ticket to beat. Very easy ticket. That's my
You said it
closing.
will be an easier ticket to beat? Is that what you said?
Yeah. GMB is very, very, very easy to beat. Very easy.
Okay.
You can hear the caller because the Liberian people remember. 5 years ago, they remember. Liberian people not dumb. Very intelligent people. But I think the Unity Party think Liberian people dumb. So it's an easy ticket. But it's 1 minute. The guys got to go. Tommy got to go. On Wednesday, we will continue this discussion.
You hosting on Wednesday,
Yeah,
Keff? Are you moderating on Wednesday?
And Tomlin will. Okay. No, but I think
Okay.
you would take that position. But we're talking offline. The time Tomalin gotta go. Tomalin
Tomalin, go
Liberia. He gotta
ahead.
go home.
Well, it was a good discussion. Senator Balut, honestly, I must say that I think he's one of the. I'm surprised. He's one of the guys who have really defended the Unity Party since he left office. He's a strong defender of the Unity Party, and I hope we can host him another time where he can defend the record because I think he came prepared and stood his ground. Well, concerning his initiative, like I said, posterity will judge him tomorrow. What the outcome of this election? Posterity will judge him. And like I said, the country is now on a pause. Okay, everybody's watching what the former vice president will do in the next few hours, the next few days. Everybody's watching. Whatever decision he makes concerning his VP pick will change the election phase. And the hearing from different sides. If you choose this person, we'll do this. If you choose another person, we'll do that. That's what we're hearing right now. So any decision he makes in the next few days will change the entire dynamics of the election because I'm telling you, it's a serious thing going on. Everyone is watching him, looking at rehab road where he lives, and I'm not too far from him. And every time I pass there, I see everybody talking about that house and talking about the VP decision.
So that road is busy, huh?
It's a
It
busy
got a lot
road.
of traffic, huh?
A lot of traffic. In fact, the road, other part of the road is blocked, but that's what we're looking at. So let's see what happens in the next couple of days. And I know tomorrow, Heron Costa is having a press conference at the ALP headquarters at 1 o'clock, and it will be interesting.
Right.
Yeah, we're having a major press conference tomorrow, Heron Costa. Let's see what he'll tell the Liberian people at his press conference tomorrow at the ALP headquarters. But Jackie, I thought you did extremely well, and I'd love to see you host again. I think you did extremely well. I'm getting positive feedbacks about you moderating today. And I think it was awesome, and you came on strong. I really appreciate you, and thank you again, man. Kudos to you, Kev. Thanks for always coming.
Thank you so much.
And coming again, Kev. I know you don't disappoint, Kev. So it wasn't strange to me.
No, he doesn't. Kev is always on fire and ready to go. So on Wednesday, are we still having Madame Telia Ure on the show for Wednesday?
Tentatively, she has not gotten to tell me she's not appearing. I know we had a discussion and she agreed to appear. So I'm only waiting to confirm, but she's have not gotten to tell me that she won't appear. So I'm sure we'll have her Wednesday. I will get back to her again tomorrow again to confirm everything better. But up to now, she has not said that she won't appear. So I'm still waiting. But she told me she will appear. So.
Okay. Well, this brings us to the end of today's version of Closing Argument. To our many, many viewers in Liberia and around the world, we thank you so much. We are humble and we thank you and honored. We are honored and humble and we thank you for watching us today. Please continue to share this show and talk to people about the closing argument because this is a place where we are balanced. Whether you're in position, no position, opposition, we are here to talk about the issues, to bring the facts to you, the viewers, and then after that you decide what you want to do because we got about 176 more days to go until October 10 election day. And my final words are April 21st.
Yes.
Begins the next phase of election. Of voter registration. So please, 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 we are appealing to everybody to please go out and vote in the remaining 9 counties. Until then, we say goodbye to every one of you.
Thanks to KMTV guys.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks to all the guys on KMTV.
Yes.
The guys are phenomenal. And look, we need to really give the guys props, and they are doing their best under difficult conditions. They are making us to be alive and keep us going. And I just want to say thanks to the CEO, Mr. Ronald Jackson, and his team here. All these guys are just awesome, and I really want to appreciate them.
Definitely. Thank you. And thanks, Hot FM, Puma Radio.
Yeah.
Good night to all of you. Bye-bye.